Alrighty, everybody. Today I'm going to be going over the plot of the film Schindler's List, as well as giving my thoughts on the movie itself. So I've got some notes here, so I don't forget. Let's get started. So the movie starts with Oscar Schindler in his hotel room in Krakow, where he has just recently moved because he thought that he could make money off of this World War II that's like developing right now. This is like in the early stages. So the movie opens with him putting on his Nazi party pin, like some expensive cufflinks, takes a big old fat wad of money out of a drawer, and then he goes to this party, and he's treating a big old table of a bunch of like high-ranking Nazi officers to like a bunch of alcohol and whatever they want with his money that he has, and this gets him in with them. Then Schindler visits a small town in Germany where they're in Krakow, where they're like making the Jews leave their homes and whatnot and go to the ghettos, and he like walks through these lines of Jews and he's looking for Itzhak Stern, who he wants to be his accountant because he has plans of so what he wants to do is he wants to have these Jews invest in this enamelware factory that's now closed down because it's illegal for Jews to own a business, because Jews used to own it. So what he wants to do is for them to invest and get paid back with the actual goods from the enamelware factory, because he wants to take the money, but also Jews can't own factories. So at first, Stern, whatever you want to call it, he refuses, and then next he comes back. Schindler, first of all, he doesn't give up. He visits a church where there's a bunch of these Jewish smugglers conducting business, and all of them when he goes there, all of them run away except for this one guy. His name is Poldek Pfefferberg. It's kind of a funny name. So Pfefferberg, Schindler tells Pfefferberg he needs lots of luxury items in the coming months, and he promises to get them for Schindler.
Like I said previously, destruction of property is a great way to get suspended.
Next shows Schindler in his luxury apartment. So this is after he's made a little more money. Schindler finally secures all the money that he needs from the Jewish investors, who agree to accept the goods from the factory as payment after they're moved into the ghettos, because
we need to clean
money
this up.
would be worthless in the ghettos. That's what Schindler tells them, and it's true. Schindler sets up his factory with Stern's help, and hires Jews rather than Poles because they are cheaper to employ. Workers at the factory are deemed essential, a status that saves them from removal and being sent to the death camps. And at this point, Schindler's unaware that Stern is using his position in the factory to save people that he knows in the Jewish community. His awareness grows, however, when Stern brings him to see a one-armed man who wants to thank Schindler for saving him by making him essential, in quotes. Schindler dismisses the gratitude and chastises Stern for bringing the man to see him. Shortly after this, Schindler has to rescue Stern himself from a train bound to a death camp because he forgot his papers. Or he got in the wrong line, I think. Meanwhile, construction on the Plaschow labor camp begins, and Amon Goeth appears. Goeth is a sadistic Nazi SS officer, and he's charged with running the camp. When this camp is completed, the Jews that were in the ghetto that Schindler was getting his Jews from for the factory were moved there. And at first, even the Jews that were working at Schindler's factory moved there, but Schindler eventually gets the ones that were deemed essential before to come back. And then at this point, Schindler's beginning to participate actively in saving the Jews, especially when Regina Perlman, a Jewish girl, passes as a Gentile and visits his office. She begs Schindler to hire her parents because she has heard that his factory is a safe haven for Jews, and that they aren't killed or sent to the labor camps. So you can go. I'll stop myself. My cameraman has to go to class, so this is a one man operation now. Okay, so at this point, there's a Jew working as a police officer for this the labor camp. So he like oversees some of the other Jews, and he can. And so what Schindler does is he gives Stern his gold watch to give to the guy that's a police officer as payment. So he lets this girl's family, or this girl's parents, Regina Perlman's parents, out so they can come work at the factory. So sometime later, this is around the time of the war when Hitler and most of the Nazi Party realize that they're losing. So they are trying to find some way to cover up the Holocaust, or cover up what they've been doing to the Jews. And so Goethe is charged with evacuating Plaszow and exhuming and burning the bodies of 10,000 Jews killed there. So he has to dig them all up and then burn the bodies. Looks like we've got a guest here.
Hi.
I'm shooting a video here for Mr. Davis.
I hate that guy.
Can you make sure the camera's still running, actually?
You're good.
Okay, cool. I'm almost done here. Okay. So, Schindler realizes that at this point, his workers at the factory, Stern included, face certain death at the hands of the Nazis. So he decides to spend his fortune that he's earned through this factory to save as many Jews as he can. And with that, Schindler begins to make his list, which that's the name of the movie, Schindler's List. Let's see here. When the war ends, he buys them all back, and then he buys them all back to work at his factory in Czechoslovakia. The men and women are transported to Czechoslovakia on 2 separate trains, however, and the women are accidentally sent to Auschwitz, where everyone thinks they're going to get killed, but they don't. They just get their hair cut off, and they go actually take a real shower and not a gas one. So when the war ends, Schindler tells all his workers they're free now, but he would be hunted as a war criminal. So he says that he must flee at midnight. When he bids the Schindler Juden goodbye, they give him a ring made from the gold tooth work of a factory worker, engraved with the Talmudic phrase, "Whoever saves one life saves the whole world over." Schindler breaks down crying, and because he thought he could have sacrificed more wealth to save one more life. The next morning, a single Russian soldier on horseback enters the camp and tells the Jews they are free, and as they walk towards a nearby town, the movie scene dissolves into a full color and reveals a group of real Holocaust survivors walking across the field. So that's it. That's the end. It was a good movie. I really liked it. I've seen it before, but it was good to refresh myself in that regard. It was very good. I'd give it a 8.5. No, I'd give it an 8.7 probably. 8.7. So yeah, it was pretty good. Would have liked to watch Saving Private Ryan a little more, but it was good. It was very historically accurate. Let me go ahead and turn the camera off here. Give me an A, please.